Okay, I think we're recording. Sorry if this doesn't work exactly as it should. It is my first ever YouTube video. So I'm currently working on a game using GameMaker, and one of my kind of reasons to finally get going with this is because I've been watching a lot of great YouTube videos, kind of explanations about how to make a game. I thought, hey, this is something that's actually within the realms of possibility, and I always wanted to make a game. I was always interested in doing it, so here we go. Big thanks to definitely Tom Francis, Pantadak. He's doing a bunch of videos right now. I think he's up to like episode 8 or something, just these really great introductions on how to make games with GameMaker. So that's a great help. I really recommend, if anyone's interested, to start out with those. They're a really good series. I'm making something a little bit different. Maybe, you know, if you've seen any of those, you'll know he's doing something more kind of top-down. This is a little bit more perspectival, kind of fake, like, I don't know, 2.3, 2.5 3D or something, 2.5D. And it's called Innkeeper. The idea is that you are an innkeeper. Right now, I guess you're more the mistress. Maybe you'll be able to select and be the master or something. There'll be male and female options. And this, you may have noticed some people have been kind of coming in from the left there since the start of the video. These are the peasants. They're the only other, apart from you, they're the only other people right now who exist. So, hello peasants, how you going? They're all lined up at the bar very neatly in rows right now. There's nothing really you can do. And the artwork is terrible. I'm in the middle of replacing the kind of grey, smudgy walls here with more of a, I don't know, Edwardian or Victorian or whatever it is. Edwardian, I suppose, kind of wattle and daub kind of walls in the background here. So it's all looking a bit mishmash. I'm no artist, and I'm also not a programmer, but I do like games. So, let's see. Innkeep, right. So the idea is, you know, in a lot of games, going right back to a long time ago when you had stuff like... you know, for example, Bard's Tale or something like this, you know, or even the Ultima games. The local tavern or the inn or something was a really important place you go to between adventures to kind of hire party members or purchase things, rest up, heal, whatever. And I thought I'd like to make a game where you just run that kind of place. That's what you do. So you're the innkeeper. You're not the hero. You're not an adventurer. You're not doing anything. You're feeding the people who are out there having adventures. So you're trying to profit. You know, someone goes down there in a dungeon. They're killing things. They're making lots of loot or whatever. They're coming back, and then you're profiting off of them spending their ill-gotten, you know, whatever it is, their ill-gotten gains. And the idea is that basically you're trying to find a way, it's a little bit like Roller Coaster Tycoon maybe, you're trying to find a way to get the people who come into your tavern to hang around and spend lots of money. So maybe everybody, there's different types of people, they come in, they have a certain amount of money on them depending, you know, a peasant's not going to have as much money as a merchant, for example. And you're trying to convince the people to spend as much as possible before they leave. So you're trying to make money so you can survive another day. And in order to do that, you have to think carefully about where you're going to be placing your different types of people. So let's say we've got some peasants lined up right now, and if we were to select them, we can't do that yet. So that's not something I have programmed just yet. But imagine that you can click on a guy and then click on a table. And so one of these peasants will shuffle on over to the table, and once they've done that, they will start to be able to be fed with different foods and you know, drinking and so on. And if you were to get several people together who all like each other, like let's say peasants are all gathered together and they're all drinking and chatting and having a merry time, so they'll stay longer and maybe they'll spend more, consume more, you'll make more money. However, if you were to put down, you know, a wealthy merchant or something over at that table, they won't get along together, people won't be as comfortable, and maybe they'll leave earlier. So there's that element of Roller Coaster Tycoon there, maybe, of how do you keep people happy. But there's also that kind of, maybe it's a card game style. So if you could think of these guys here who are lined up at the bar, we've got 4 slots at the moment. I don't know if I'll go 4 or 5, but we've got 4 right now. They're your hand, and then you're dealing yourself out. Well, maybe they're the cards you haven't dealt yet, but they're going to be then slotted into these different combinations, right? So you'll constantly have new people coming in. You know, this is low fantasy, so we won't have any elves or dwarves or so on, but maybe we'll have, you know, peddlers, merchants, we'll have ruffians, and we'll have buccaneers, and we'll have adventurers and thieves and hoodlums. You know, all kinds of different variants of fantasy tropes and so on. And they'll all have their dislikes and likes and so on. Not just with what people they're sitting with, but what kind of things they like to drink and eat. So you'll have to try and create clever kind of combinations to really maximize your income. And you'll be doing that because you'll have sinks, money sinks, maybe tax collectors and so on, and things like that, which are costing you money. If we go in through here, you'll see, well, here's our little kitchen here. Also nothing here existing just yet, just a dark room. But you'd be cooking up food, you know, and you'd be bringing stuff out. There won't be any kind of inventory complicated where you press an I, you go into inventory and you drag and you drop into anything. You'll be holding stuff like you're holding a beer, you click on the guy, you've given the beer. So everything's just click, 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 really simple like that. You can actually use the keyboard if you want to for some reason, and I'll probably allow the space key to have a similar function in some ways, where if you're near some guy and there's an activation available, you press the space, you do it. So I'll make that as well, but right now it's basically mouse. What I'm kind of hoping to achieve is that obviously when you're designing games by yourself, not that I have a whole lot of experience with this except for making some stuff in Quick Basic back in the 90s, you can't really have a whole lot of content. I'm not making 50 dungeons, and I'm not making hundreds of different locations and so on. But I can make 20 different types of people who might visit, and I can make some code which means that you've got, through those 20 different types of guys, a lot of different possible combinations, right? So you can imagine, oh look, you know, I'm really hoping that the next guy comes through this door will be this type of guy, because if I can pair him up with those two, we're going to get this special little bonus going on, and I'll make an extra few dollars and I'll survive another day without going bankrupt. That's the kind of thing I'd like to see happening. So people can make use of their knowledge of the game and come up with some interesting combinations and ideas that will kind of solve the problem of how do I make enough cash. And throwing in through all of that, I'm kind of hoping that I'll be able to throw in some kind of story elements and some kind of surprises and some discoveries of special little items you can use here and there. And as the days tick over, you know, it'll be like day 1, day 2, day 3, we'll gradually introduce those elements. So you'll start off not exactly sure about anything, of course, but rather than providing a tutorial, the initial stages of the campaign would be themselves a tutorial. So in that case, it would be quite similar to Lucas Pope's game, for example, Papers, Please. So the first day, you've just got a few peasants coming in, you chat with them and they tell you about the weather, and I don't know, they grumble about things, and you feed them some ale, they go on and everything's great. But maybe the next day a peddler comes and talks about the condition of the roads, and then he tells you something else, and then maybe you have a little option to choose to sit him next to someone or not to. You know, maybe he slips you a few extra bucks if you allow him to sit next to the merchant and do some extra trade or whatever. There's a possibility there to just slowly kind of work in some lore and some options, and then it'll reach some kind of climax where, depending on your choices, you have a branching series of different conclusions to the game. And that would be really cool. And then, you know, of course, you'd have some kind of endless mode as well. So basically, like Papers, Please, you'd have your kind of campaign story mode and your endless mode. It is called Innkeep, not Barkeep, so I'm envisioning something a little bit more complicated than the current 2 rooms, where we have some bedrooms upstairs, and we're able to clean them and then stick people in them for the night. And when you're cleaning, maybe you'll have some kind of randomized reward where you find something that the adventurers have left, you know, some kind of loot item or something, some note or something, you know, just to make that actually worthwhile. And you'll also then be thinking, okay, who am I going to bunk up together in this room so they won't fight and trash the place, or, you know, whatever like this. So, yeah, you know, I'm pretty happy about it. I'm pretty excited. It's actually been really fun to work with GameMaker. It's been easier and harder than I thought it would be. Easier in that the speed at which you can knock up some art and have something working is really cool. The harder part, of course, is that if you want to go under the hood a little bit, you do have to learn how to code if you want to do some cool things. That is made a little bit easier thanks to people like Tom Francis and crew online who are making really great tutorials and stuff, and sharing their kind of coding tips and tricks. So that is really been a godsend for doing this. I'm looking forward to seeing how things come along. I would think I'll probably be uploading a video every couple of weeks just to show my progress, depending on how fast we go. I would like to have the kind of core basic game mechanics in pretty quickly if I can, like just some of the simple stuff. We'll see. Right off, all I can show you off right now, I mean, you've probably already seen it, but I like the fact that I can go behind objects like this. Look at that. Oh, very cool. And you'll notice, of course, there's light and dark. There's shadow here, which is done using some sprites. I'm very, very pleased with that. Of course, I can go in and out of locations. And if I try to go down through here, things are blocking me, and so it's all kind of working. And I'm really surprised at how much you can get done if you work at it for like 15-20 hours or so. Really pleased with that. In the long term, of course, I would love to have some real animations, some real artists working on this. I'm not sure how that will happen. Maybe online we'll be able to find some people who'd be willing to donate some work, or for a donate a little bit of their time and effort. I do work at a company that makes a lot of games, and I'm surrounded by artists. That's the funny thing. Since late last year, I started this job where I'm surrounded by artists making all kinds of amazing art. So it's possible that I might be able to swing something that way. We'll see how we go. But anyway, it's probably another year or so down the track before we get to that point. Thank you very much, everyone who's been giving me advice and tips and tricks and stuff on YouTube and online and Twitter and so on. I really hope that I have lots more videos to show you guys in the future. It's definitely, I'm really enjoying it. Okay, that pretty much wraps up this video, so I'm going to press stop.